BetterPress plates from many different companies can be used several ways in the BetterPress system and even more ways in a hot foil system. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik and I've been having so much fun playing with my press plates, especially since I recently received the Glimmer hot foiling system from Spellbinders. I love to use unique fun folds to feature different views of the same press plate. This is a larger version of the bookbinding Z-fold I learned from Frenchie, a well-known Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I am featuring this gorgeous Hero Arts press plate called Snowy Nights. I did the sides in this one simply by running it through with no ink on a silver mirror card. So that is just subtly embossed. The front piece was pressed with Lisa Horton's Regal Gray Shimmer Interference ink. So it's purple one way and it's kind of a shimmery gray the other way. So depending on what paper you use and which way you're looking at it, you get a different view. So this again is a bookbinding Z-fold. So there's this piece and then you have your Z-fold. And on the inside I pressed Warm Wishes, which is a copper plate Warm Wishes from Spellbinders. So this card is totally better pressed. Now of course all the details on all the cards you see will be on my blog, and links to the blog post and products featured are in the description box. But since I received my Glimmer plate system, I admit I am loving foiling my press plates even more than letter pressing them. I used white foil on a navy card on this one, and then I put the Warm Wishes on top, and that's pretty. But now I have another way to make cards, and that is with the Pinkfresh solid hot foil plate from Pinkfresh Studios. So none of the leftover foil is wasted. So I took what was left making this one and I made this card, and I put it on navy again, and it's just gorgeous. So you get 2 for 1 with the leftover foil. So I think that this gilded marble press plate from Altenew is really pretty, but when it's foiled. But the only part that has foil is the black parts. But if you do it first generation and then you do it second generation using that Pinkfresh solid hot foil plate, this is what you get. So all of this would have been leftover foil. But instead you have all this glorious rainbow shattered color. The pattern continues from there to there. This is the smaller version of the bookbinding Z-fold, and I really like how that one turned out as well. So I am heating up the Pinkfresh Studios solid hot foil plate. So this will take any leftover foil and transfer it to another sheet. So I did, I'll show you this one, and that's going to be the front of our bookbinding card. And this is the leftover foil. Again, I don't want to waste any of that, and I love the positive and negative looks. So you're going to take your foil and you're going to put it pretty side down, and then you're going to take a piece of cardstock and you're going to put your usual 2 shims on there, and you're going to press your timer. While we're waiting for that timer, I'll just show you, this is the version of the bookbinding Z-fold card that I'm going to make. I decided that I had made a larger one, the first one I showed you, and that was 5.5 by 11, but that was going to have to be mailed in a square card, and nowadays with the price of postage, 2 stamps is adding up. So I changed it to 5 by 11. and that way this will fit into a 5x7 envelope. So it is a 5x11 piece of cardstock, and we're going to score it at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 5 1/2. The side pieces, which is what I'm going to cut out of this one I'm doing now, are going to be 4 3/4 by 1, and you want one on both sides. And then you also have a piece in here you can cover, and then the inside piece, if you're using a dark cardstock, is going to be 4 3/4 by 2 7/8, and the top piece is 5 by 3 1/4, and your designer paper or your cover is going to be 4 3/4 by 3. So I will show that to you step by step. This is ready to go. So I'm going to bring up my Platinum 6. I don't really have space on my under my camera to do both, but we're going to take this and we'll run it through the Platinum 6. They tell you to go slowly when you're doing it, and I go all the way through, and then I come back. So this foil that you saw is no longer wasted. I'm going to be able to cut the side pieces out of here and have the pattern going from one through the front to the other side. So no waste that way. I wanted to show you one other thing while I have this on. So I need to slide this off because it's very hot. I learned a tip in a reel online, and what the tip is, if you want to take a smaller sentiment press plate like this Warm Wishes, and I want it to be right at the very top of this piece and to not move. Let's see if I can move this over. So what you do is you kind of do opposite of what you normally do, and we're going to use press plate. So we have our paper side up, our foil with the pretty side up, our die down, and you put it right where you want it, and then you take a piece of press and seal and you hold it all together. So that press and seal is going to hold that plate in place right where you want it to be. And normally you would have your it's exactly the opposite. So now we're going to put this on here and we're going to press start, and we're going to let that warm up again. I can show you the first piece that I did is going to be on the front of this bookbinding Z-fold, and that is the piece that is 4 3/4 by 3 on top of a 5 by 3 1/4 piece, and that is ready to go. And then the second one that we just did, we're going to cut down, but first I wanted to just show you this tip for perfect placement of a smaller press plate. And of course we need to wait for it to warm up. So these pieces here, I'm going to cut 1 inch off and 1 inch off, and then a center piece, and have that ready to go. Okay, the timer has gone off. So we'll move this off and pull this off. And our sentiment has been foiled, and that's going to go in the center of the card. I'm going to get this all cleaned up and come back. So I have my two 1-inch pieces cut and ready to go. They are 1 by 4, right? Let's see, 4 3/4. They are 1 by 4 3/4, and this is my piece that is 5 by 11, and I am going to score it as I showed at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 5 1/2. So 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 5 1/2. And then I'm going to fold it in half down, and then the other 2 scored lines I'm going to fold up, and that's creating the Z fold. Now this part here is going to be adhered down to create the kind of book binding. I just changed this and it's decided not to work. Well, we pull out another one, no problem. A lot of times I use glue, but when I don't want to be patient and wait for it to set up, if a tape roller or something else will work, I will use that. So I'm going to take these 2 pieces and put them on the side, and they're 1 inch wide by 4 3/4. So this one again is going to fit into a 5 by 7 envelope. No need for 2 stamps. It will fold nicely to go in a 5 by 7 envelope. Then we're going to take this piece that I created for the inside of the card with the warm wishes, and that is 4 3/4 by 2 7/8. I just decided it needed to be a little bit bigger than 2 3/4. So, well, we're going to have to use glue. My tape runners are getting to be very stubborn today. Wouldn't you know that, of course, when you're trying to film. And I was just trying to save a little time, but glue is maybe better for trying to get it to be perfectly situated. So that is in there. And then this is the original one that I did with that beautiful Hero Arts snowy scene. And I'm going to put it here so that the scenery continues from the first and second generation foiling, or the positive and negative looks of that same image. I'd like to use fun folds to show the different views here rather than just plop it on an A2 card. I just think they're so much more interesting. And again, this is the book binding Z fold. So we have some snowy branches on the side, and then we have our beautiful snowy scene in the center. The card is going to stand up like that with the book binding and the Z fold. When you open it up, you have warm wishes and more snowy scenes there. So again, I love to use a unique fun fold to feature beautiful positive and negative foiled pieces, and I hope my cards encourage you to give some of these ideas and products a try. Watch the next video for more BetterPress and hot foiling ideas, and have a great crafty week.